Time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. And Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
We made it.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Steve Panancial, Mark, Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
Dartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. This show will be solely dedicated to the Chicago Cubs.
No, we're going to
No,
we're all
not
about,
this week?
we are all about the Darts.
Oh.
I'm done with the Cubs.
I'm confused.
I'm over it, sort of, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You're
it was
over
a fun
it, but
ride.
there's nothing to talk about right now then. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's the off season.
Oh, okay.
This is in honor of Jake Arrieta.
Wait
I'm wearing
till
my
next year.
flat brim cubby hat.
Has never ringed so loudly.
Next year's the year, man.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know, I believe it. They did exactly what I thought they would do this year. They contended for the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they, knocked out the Pirates and the Cardinals bodes well for next year. Bunch of rookies got a year of experience. It's a good time to be a Cub fan. We had a lot of results. Don't forget. Oh, well, here's the thing. All right. I've always said, we're going to try to incorporate Twitter on the show. I was on Twitter for hours the last few days. Twitter's awesome.
All right.
I don't know quite if we're going to do the one thing I wanted to do with Twitter, but starting next week's show, if you're having a problem in the chat room, we'll monitor Twitter, and you can tweet during the show. I think that'd be fun. We'll see.
Sounds fantastic.
We need a Twitter girl, but I don't think we're going to get one.
I do not even have a Twitter account.
Really? You're not on Twitter?
No.
You don't do any of that stuff.
No.
Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, none of it.
Stupid.
No. It isn't stupid. I mean, here's the thing that amazed me. I was watching the ball game last night. Made it through all 14 innings, right? And in the ninth inning, Alex Gordon hit a homer. Mm-hmm. So I am scrolling through Twitter, following what, 5 different conversations all these people are having. And all of a sudden, Zobrist homers. And I look down at the iPad. I'm like, what? And then I look up, and Alex Gordon homers. Twitter told me, I'm watching the game live, and Twitter told me he homered before he homered.
Yeah.
That's how fast you get stuff on Twitter. And if you just
either that or your
I
feed
got
was
satellite.
slower.
Well,
your satellite feed was slower than national TV.
Fox was having all sorts of problems. It was almost like we were running it for him. I mean, it was like pulling the plug and stuff. So if you want to put Mets Royals updates in the chat room for us, since we can't really follow the game, we would appreciate that. I think it's 1-0 going into the fourth. It was funny. I got a frantic phone call from a darter who's kind of in a slump. So we're kind of going back and forth, and he left me a voicemail, and he's a regular listener. I guess he listens while he's traveling, like he's in his car, so he puts on the podcast in his car. And he tried to listen to it, and all he got was baseball, and he was freaking out. And he doesn't like baseball because the team in his city is no good, so he's just off baseball. He's like, oh, I had to turn on the radio, man. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I got a little carried away with the baseball, but we're going to be all darts this week. You played, actually, last night.
Now. Well, yeah, I played last week and yesterday. Whew. Boy, am I bad.
You played 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And your level of suckiness is...
I'm below a brass.
No kidding.
I missed 9 darts at a single 20. in a cricket game.
9 darts.
And then the guy finally...
In singles?
Yeah, and then the guy finally closed it and hit a triple 20, and I was down 60 points, and then the floodgates opened, and I was a single dart. Oh, it was disgusting. I wanted to quit. I mean, I haven't had time to practice, so I've basically played twice in the last 2 weeks, and my warm-ups have been before the matches. Where we play... Our home bar is...
You're at Newport's? Or no, you're at some new place now.
Yeah, Piggery, and it's an atrocity to darts because all they have is the dartboard is stuck on a wall, no backing, no nothing. The practice board is in another room, but they were having a meeting back there, so there's no practice board, so you can't throw other than in between matches, and then obviously the people that are getting ready to throw are trying to warm up, and basically you throw 9 to 12 darts before you're ready to play. And
did I not tell you it was going to be like a complete disaster if you played league? Right?
Regardless, I'm a complete disaster at this game.
Well, give yourself a chance.
I need to practice.
So you don't pick up a dart for 8 months and then you go play a league match with a 9-dart warm up and you're like, oh gee, I missed 9 darts at a fat 20. I'm not surprised. I went out the other night. I went out Sunday. I got tired of watching football. The Bears are on bye week, and I'm just like. I was hoping the Jets would win, and when it was clear they weren't going to win, I was like, I can't watch anymore of this.
Oh, that upset me. I got home from golf and got to see the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and I was not happy.
I mean, when they write the history of the Patriots, somebody should mention that they have played in a division where nobody could get it together for like a decade. Like Miami and Buffalo and the Jets, they can't get out of their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm bored. So I'm like, well, we've talked about how unorthodox my grip is, and I'm thinking, well, here's what I'll do. I'll just grab my darts. I'll run down to the local tavern. I figure, by now everybody's kind of out of there, right? There's no really reason to be. It's a Sunday night, and it wasn't really a Chicago kind of game. I'm like, oh, the place will be empty, and I'll just go and I will try to throw with like a standard pro grip, and just not worry about it. So I go there, and I run into, like, one of the local guys who's been, like, he used to be a decent player, doesn't play much anymore. He's actually a firefighter. And the boards are taken by, like, drunken fools playing, the 1-hour, 3-person cricket game, right? And so I sit and start talking to him and told him why I was there. And he did basically the same thing. He came to just, like, kind of get some darts in, right? So eventually... the hour-long cricket leg ended, and we went over, and instead of like trying out a new grip, I end up playing like 4 sets of format with the guy. With like, your basic, 15 dart warm-up. Okay, let's play. And like, first leg, I get in right away on a 301. I throw like a ton 40. I'm down, easy. Sweep them in the cricket. And then the next leg, I can't get out. I'm way ahead in the 301. I lose it. It was absurd. I threw like a 171 to leave 16 with 6 starts at the 16 and end up losing that. And then comes cricket, and all of a sudden I'm missing everything a number to the left. And I'm like, well, this isn't good. Then they start feeling totally clunky. And I'm like, oh, I just feel so mechanical, and I have no flow. I have no nothing. And now I can't hit anything, and now I'm losing. And the guy's beating on me. And now I'm getting irritated with the people next to us who are like drunken idiots doing the hula hoop thing, right? And I'm just like, oh, my God, this is... And so he's like, well, you're getting upset because I'm beating you. And I'm like, I'm not. I don't care if you're beating me. I care, how I'm trying really hard not to stink. That's all I care about. I don't want to stink. I haven't been playing, so my expectations aren't real high. And, after we had that conversation, I just started pummeling him. I just started... hitting everything. And I was like, it's all mental. Once your arm is loose, right, and your muscle memory takes over, it's all mental.
I agree.
I mean, there's no, you're in the moment playing the game. I mean, your arm knows what to do. You've been playing for 20 years.
My arm is completely forgot.
Well,
because I can't get anything. Here's the best part of here's the best or worst part, funniest part of our league darts. So they just have a board on the wall. There's no scoreboards.
Okay.
So they just have
Literally like they nailed it on a
TVs,
tree.
There's
right?
2 TVs up here, and then boom, just a dartboard. No backing, no nothing, but they don't have scoreboards. So anyway, they bring out the A-frame stanchion that has like your specials on it that would sit outside on the sidewalk.
So you're chalking on the menu board.
They don't have chalk.
Oh.
So they bring out that, and then the guy's like, well, I'll bring out pieces of paper. So they bring out these big white pieces of paper. Well, the guy, first of all, only brought one piece of paper. Like we were going to score 9 matches
on a single sheet of paper.
Right,
small.
So finally, after with a Sharpie, and then finally after that, he's like, we had to say something to him and go, well, this is our home bar, by the way.
Yeah. See, you
So
play with a knucklehead. You play with a guy who tries to go to a new bar every time, and all the bars in Chicago, they don't have enough space. You need space to play darts, right? And then you try to wedge in a board somewhere here and there, and it just turns into like a nightmare.
Bad, but they needed, But yeah, and that it was pretty ridiculous.
Well,
and then they bring out 20 pieces of white paper, and it's like we're at the Windy City Cup. You're ripping the pages down, throwing it on the floor, and crumpling them up. And
oh my gosh, it's just more trouble than it's worth. Is kind of what I was trying to tell you about the league darts. Anyway, we do have results. We got a lot of catching up to do since we were gone last week and we didn't do darts the week before. Hold
on, we should do this first.
Oh, let's disclaim away. Yeah.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
And we wish you well. I mean, there's a lot going on tonight. You got the World Series. There's a political Republicans are yelling at each other on CNBC. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have too many people listening live tonight, but
I'm not exactly sure what Bill's doing. Bill said, I'm just waiting to hear Steve mention how the Cubs did in the NLCS, and they says, geez, I just realized I was watching the last show.
Oh, wow. Hit F5.
He must not have.
I can't really follow the chat from here.
No, would you appease Bill just to tell him how the Cubs did in the NLCS?
I only have 3 letters
He's
to
your
describe
sponsor.
the. I only have 3 letters to describe the NLCS. That's HGH.
Okay.
There's such a thing as a smell test. Anyway, Aaron, who does the voiceover for the disclaimer, emailed me a couple of weeks ago, and he wants me to have Jennifer Mounts on the show.
Okay.
Now, Jennifer Mounts apparently is a Pacific Northwest darter who is blogging about darts all the time, and it really has like this wonderful enthusiasm, and I told him I would do it. So I don't know if Aaron's listening, but I did reach out to her. We emailed each other. We'll try to get her on the show next week. I couldn't get her today. Everybody's been traveling. I can't believe where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have results, and we will be getting to them shortly.
After
there was
the break.
The Dartslive Stage 6 was in, I think it was in Shanghai. You got the World Cup, which is, they're kind of halfway through it, and that is, where's the World Cup? It's our background is actually.
Oh, in Turkey.
Anatolia?
Anatalpa, I believe.
Anatolia, Turkey.
Anatalpa or Anatolia? Anatolia, yeah.
Anatolia, Turkey. We've got the PDC results.
Mm-hmm.
We got results from the Turkish Open. We'll do the Colorado Open next week. We'll do Which City next week. And also next week we will do Ghost on the Coast, which is this weekend. That's a lot.
That's a lot going on.
That's a lot going on. Don't you think?
Sure.
The Americans, so far, no good as far as the World Cup goes. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to that first. Did we take a break yet?
No, we're due.
We're due. Okay, we're going to come back and start with some results. You listen to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Panaciano. We'll be right back.
views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Been a long 2 weeks.
Whew.
Back
Silent.
for the second quarter
Yes.
of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
The DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Don't forget, you can email the show, darttalk@gmail.com. You follow us on Twitter, @DartTalk. We got a website, darttalk.us, and we have a YouTube channel, Dart Talk US, all smushed together. So you can find us on TuneIn Radio as well as Stitcher.com. And we'll probably be somewhere else. Google's doing something.
Are they?
Yeah, well, like podcasting and stuff. So,
All right.
we're pretty much everywhere. So what are we doing now?
I don't know. Which results do you want to do first?
Well, okay. Any response in the chat room before? Because you're going to lose the chat when you do the results. I mean, somebody took umbrage at my mentioning the smell test on somebody. Yeah. Here's the thing. Everybody remembers the steroid era. And I'm not, this is just going to take a second. Everybody remembers the steroid era, right? Everybody was, oh, look at Mark McGwire hit homers and Sammy Sosa and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there the whole time like, these guys are juicing. The entire mainstream media ignored it for years. And it's pretty obvious when you see production just spike all of a sudden that, you know, there's usually a reason for it. Now, you got a guy who's never hit more than four. Just let me finish.
No, because this is ridiculous.
It's
absolutely ridiculous.
Let me make my point.
There is no point. Was the pitching staff on HDH? Are the Cubs not on it because they didn't get a damn hit for 25,000 innings?
Can I finish now?
God.
All I'm saying is, like, if you look at somebody who's only his career best is 14 home runs in a year, and he hit 7 in a week in the final month of his contract year.
Must be on steroids. Has to be.
Okay, you're not even going to consider that. Gee.
All I can say is, what's that taste? Sour grapes?
Hey,
grapes?
Look, Daniel Murphy could have sprained his ankle in the first inning of the first game, and the Mets still would have won. I mean, the Cubs were outplayed from start to finish the entire series. I'm just saying.
But if Murphy wasn't on HDH, they wouldn't have beaten the Dodgers, and then the Cubs would have played the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have no players in HDH, so therefore the Cubs would have beat the Dodgers, and they'd be playing right now.
Is that
your theory?
I didn't say that. I'm just, just my opinion.
All right.
Does not reflect the views of our sponsors, I'm sure.
No, obviously not, because he's the one taking umbrage with this.
Anyway, let's do some results. Let's start with...
Which one would you like to do first?
Why don't we start with the soft tip? Because a bunch of... let me see if I got this straight. Because a lot of them... let's see. Soldier Gates, Big Dog Randy Van Duerson, Scott Kirchner, Paula Murphy, Jay Barlow, Trish Grezik... Who am I forgetting? All went out for the last stage a couple weeks ago for the and they were leaving, I think, as we did our last show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know if you forgot anybody, but it's so hard to follow.
Okay. It was kind of interesting because on Twitter you run into people
Chris
like Wayne.
White.
Oh, Chris White was there? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You run into people like Wayne Martle's on Twitter a lot. And, most people know who Wayne Martle is. He's played in the States, quite a few times. Doesn't have much of a sense of humor if I tweet to him, but that's okay. Somebody asked him, how come women don't play against the men in PDC events? And he's like, well, some have tried. Some have given it a go, I believe is how he put it. And he mentioned Detta Hedman. And he mentioned, I think, Trina Gulliver. I know Stacy Bromberg played a couple of times. And I think Trisha Wright did. So we're looking through the results for Darts Live, and then you see Paula Murphy and Trish Grezik.
Correct.
Played against,
they had to play each other.
Yeah, it's an open tournament, so women are welcome. They just, you don't see too many women playing in these things. So how'd they do? How did Trish
unfortunately,
and Paula
they had to play each other. Trish had a bye. And Paula Murphy beat Kia Long and then they had to face each other. So
they flew all the way to Shanghai to play each other. Awesome.
What an awful draw.
How'd that work out?
Paula Murphy beat her.
Paula Murphy beat her.
Doesn't give the results.
How and then Paula went one more round? Or no,
she lost to
in the next
Takahiro
round.
Suzuki.
So 128.64. So Paula made top 32, if my math is correct.
I believe, yes.
Okay. Do we have results on this?
So,
or you want to just say whatever?
Soldier Gates made top 8.
Soldier Gates made top 8. Okay.
He's
in the lead, or he's close to the lead, like the overall points lead. And I think there's one more stage in November that's going to decide it. They're not going to have that grand final, I don't think, like they have in the past.
Okay.
So Soldier Gates made top 8.
Kirchmer made top 8. Well, let's see. I guess this is so difficult.
Go to the other page that has just has like the top.
I didn't have the other page.
Okay.
Well, Van Duerson.
Randy Van Duerson from
Boris Kirchmar.
Where is he from? Randy's it begins with an L, way up north by Antioch. Not Lincolnshire.
No.
Lindenhurst. He's from Lindenhurst. Yeah.
Suzuki made the Final Four, and Soldier Gates made the Final Four.
So Soldier Gates made the Final Four.
Or no, he made Final 8.
Yeah.
He lost to Lawrence Illigan.
Gunner. Okay, Lawrence Illigan from the Philippines made top 4. Okay.
So it was Illigan against the Creature, and Duerson against Takahiro Suzuki.
Okay, so Duerson
beat
Suzuki.
The Creature. Yeah, Duerson beat Suzuki.
And then beat the Creature in the final?
Right.
So a big stage win for...
beat Illigan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, big stage win for Big Dog.
Yeah.
How'd the other Americans do? Chris White did what? You said he played.
He had a bye and then won and lost.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. We went through this like right before the show. I mean, maybe we should write this stuff down. What do you think?
It might have been easier. Who else did you say?
Jay Barlow was there. Top right.
Jay Barlow had a bye and then lost.
So he was one and done?
Yeah.
Okay.
We mentioned the women.
I can't see the left side. Go just real quick. Look down the top left and see if there's any Americans in there. Like, did Fathom go?
I never saw Fathom on here.
Okay. Chris White went. Barlow went.
Yeah, okay. Kirchner had a good showing. He
How'd
had a bye
Kirchner
and
do?
then he won 3 matches.
And who knocked him out?
He lost to the Creature.
He lost to the Creature.
In the
boy, those two guys. What a sight to see. Those are big guys.
In Sweet 16.
Throwing really little darts.
So
top 16 for that's a good showing for Scott.
Yeah, and that looks like we got those guys covered. So
okay. Interesting. I too involved with the Cubs in the playoffs to go at 1 in the morning and watch the live feed. And they do a pretty good job.
What do the stages mean though? So he went stage 6, which gets him what? Or is it all points?
It's points, but there's also prize money.
Okay. Well, sure.
Yeah. So, if you go to their website, they'll show you who's the prize money leader, and I'm pretty sure Soldier Gates was second.
Okay.
And then there's one more. So I don't know if you get $10,000 for winning it. I don't remember what the prize money was this year.
Each stage.
Yeah, each stage.
Nice.
So the tournaments are structured all the same. They're just held in different locales.
Mm-hmm.
So stage 1's here, stage 2's there. They were having the stage in Vegas every year. I don't know if they had it there this year. I didn't really care. There's a lot I don't care about lately. All right, so that was congrats to Big Dog. I wonder if he'd want to come on the show. Yeah, he's an interesting.
How would you not want to come on the show?
Yeah, really. He's an interesting guy to talk to, but I haven't talked to him in quite a while. I don't see any of the soft tip guys.
Right.
At least when I went to Vegas once a year, I'd at least say hi to him. If you don't go to the bullshooter or you don't go to soft tip draws or some of the stuff, you don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there were other results to get too. You know what else they had? They had that Tournament of Champions thing.
Okay.
You know what we'll do? We'll get Jennifer Mounts on here next week, and she can maybe talk about that because I'm pretty sure she went to it and get her take on it. I think that tournament is, I never liked the way it was structured. I talked to people that gave it really bad reviews. Some people give it good reviews. I'm like, whatever, go play. Who wants to spend like a week in Kansas City and play darts on a Tuesday? You know,
Somebody that has a Tuesday off?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at all this traveling and you know, people with day jobs, and I don't know how much vacation time they have, but, I mean, it's a lot of traveling. Why don't we do the where are we on time? We got
a few minutes.
We got a few minutes. Let's run through the PDC really quickly, and then we will go and talk about we'll take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about the World Cup. How does that sound?
Okay.
The PDC over the weekend had they held qualifiers for the last spots in the World Series of Darts, which is their kind of like it's sort of like Darts Live. They're having all these individual qualifiers on different continents and stuff, and that's going to be going on, I believe, end of November, if I'm not mistaken, for the World Series of Darts. So they got their last qualifiers in, and the field is set. There's 8 seeded players, and
that is this one.
Yeah. But also they had the last 2 floor tournaments that are held to set the field for the European Darts Championship. And the weird thing is, I read something that the last 3 world champions are people that have won that event, I think. Something like that. I don't know. I should really pay more attention. So anyway, they had the Players' Championship 19 and 20 on Saturday and Sunday. So 19 would have been, I think that's the Peter Wright one. You might be looking at 20. Yeah, that's 19. All right, so run down, I don't know, like just do like top,
all right, so
top 8, top 16.
Quarterfinals, Benito Van de Pas beat Jamie Lewis 6-3. Bunting beat Joe Cullen 6-4. Mentor Sulovic over Kevin Painter 6-2. Peter Wright 6-3 over Adrian Lewis.
Okay.
Semifinals, Benito Van de Pas beat Bunting 6-2. Peter Wright beat Sulovic 6-3.
Yeah, before you tell everybody who won, the 2 players that and this was the first time I tried to follow a PDC match on Twitter. And it was kind of weird. Mensur Sulovic has been playing really, really well, and I don't understand it. He's the Johnny Cueto. He's the Johnny Cueto of darts.
Just kidding,
sometimes I'm sure he's not listening. I'm sure he doesn't even know what HGH is. The thing about HGH is it helps your eyesight.
Oh, see, it would work for darts then. Maybe I need it.
I don't think eyesight's your problem.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So Mensur Sulovic and Benito Van de Pas really were tearing it up all day long, up to the point where they got beat. So I think kudos to them, because those 2 guys have really battled to improve their positions and beaten some really fine players along the way.
6-3 and 6-2. I mean, pretty.
And so the final,
Wright won 6-5. So it must have been a good match.
Yeah, it was. Wright was ecstatic to get by that one. Van de Pas was really pleased with his play all day, but it was Sulovic that kind of stole the show that day. I mean, the guy's been playing really well. He's been knocking off good players. I mean, if you look at I think he beat Wade. And it's not the first time this year. So let's go to the next day. Let's go to Sunday.
All right.
What happened on Sunday?
So then, let's see. We will go to quarterfinals. Yelly Clausen beat Robbie Green 6-4. James Wade won 6-1 over Ian White. Chizzy won 6-5 over Whitlock. Gary Anderson 6-2 over Stephen Bunting. And then your semifinals, Wade beats Yelly Clausen 6-4, and Anderson beats Chizzy 6-2. And then Anderson takes care of Wade 6-2.
Yeah, it was
a pretty good run.
Yeah, it was. Wade is only the second player to reach his 100th PDC quarterfinal.
Impressive.
Yeah. Well, he's
Who's the first?
Taylor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's got the firsts for everything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny, the floor tournaments, with the race to 6 and, kind of no stage and everything. There's always been this thing about, so-and-so's a good floor player, but, when he gets in front of the TV, not so much. But that's really the training ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the guys that are kind of on the cusp of like breaking into, top 16, top 32, this is where they get it done, or tournaments like this. So congrats to Gary Anderson. I'm trying to remember if somebody said whoever wins this event, the last floor event, the last 3 winners of it have won the world championship. So that makes it look good for Gary Anderson.
Oh, all right.
And it was kind of funny. I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Kevin Painter, and I was like, I'm looking, you're looking good for a deep run in December, and I think that's what this is all about. Now, you've got the bracket because the European Championship is this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Run down the matches real quick because there's only 16 of them, I think.
First round would be Van Gerwen against Jeffrey Deswan.
Yeah, okay. I'll take guy. MVG.
Cristo Reyes against Max Hopp.
That'd be fun to watch.
Ian White against Bunting.
Yeah, Bunting.
Bunting's not.
He's talking about his game like he likes where he is right now.
He's not seeded.
Yeah, well, this is like a cumulative kind
of
how you do in these certain events. So it gets to be a little messy.
Ooh, Menser Sulovic against Dave Chisnell.
Yeah,
that might be a really good match.
I'll tell you, Menser Sulovic has really impressed me with how well he's playing. I can't stand watching him, but that'll be a good match.
Thornton against John Henderson.
Yeah, go heavy on Thornton there.
Christian Kist against Raubi John Rodriguez.
Yeah, I believe he's from Spain. Kist is Dutch. It'll be. I like the way Kist plays. He looks kind of like a Van Gerwen clone, but he doesn't throw like Van Gerwen. Nice, direct, simple throw.
And you got Peter Wright against Alan Norris.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Alan Norris. I should look it up. I haven't seen anything about his general impressions coming over from the BDO. I hope he stays though.
You have Kim Hybricks against Mervyn King.
Interesting.
Gary Anderson against Brendan Dolan.
Bad day for Dolan. Bad draw.
Whitlock against Magnus Karras.
There's a Magnus Karras. I always diss him, and then he ends up playing out of his mind. That might be a good sleeper for you punters out there.
James Wade against Terry Jenkins.
Wow.
Yelly Clausen against Raymond van Barneveld.
Okay.
Adrian Lewis gets Benito Van de Pas. If he's playing well, that could be a little upset there possibly, huh?
Yeah.
Justin Pipe against Dirk van Dijvenbode.
All right.
I don't know if that was correct, but never heard of that guy. Phil Taylor plays Vincent Vandervoort. And Michael Smith against Gerwin Price.
The Taylor Vandervoort match is going to be interesting. Vandervoort was actually posting some stuff about how the PDC needs to kind of change the way they do things because it's only benefiting like 8 players. You talk about sour grapes. That was a comment that was taken as sour grapes. Well, if you want to move up and be in like the Premier League and get all the cookies, then you got to beat Phil. Mm-hmm. So here's his chance. I'll be very interested to see what level of play Vandervoort brings to that first round match, and that'll be this weekend. It'll be, the PDC will be streaming it, so it'll be watchable. I mean, I don't know if you're not doing anything on Friday, these first round matches ought to be pretty good.
Yeah, they start.
Right. They'll start in Chicago. They'll start like at 1 in the afternoon. What does it say?
1:45 to 6 p.m. local time and 8 evening sessions.
Oh, 1:45 local. Okay, that's 7 in the morning. Well, we're doing the. I get confused. It's some in Chicago. It'll be on at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 6 hours, right?
Yeah, but we're doing the time change.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, Saturday night,
so
right?
I don't know. And
the evening sessions 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. local.
So they'll have 2 sessions on Friday. One will be in the morning. One will be in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Should be a pretty good level of play. Well worth checking out. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the WDF World Cup. And I may have something to say about the ADO. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve P. This will be a short one. We'll be right back.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks in the chat room for pointing out Anastasia Dombrovoslova played in the
Grand
PDC
Slam of Darts
as well.
is the answer to that.
All right, so Anastasia's going to play in the Grand Slam of Darts. I think that's pretty cool of them to invite her to that. She's been one of the top women players for quite a while, so I enjoy watching her throw. Jill's actually a big fan of hers, for what it's worth. So the World Cup, the WDF World Cup in Turkey, as well as the Turkish Open, we've got results. We got results for what? We got all the singles results from the Turkish Open, and then we got the round-robin results for the men. This is kind of one of these messy tournaments. It makes it kind of hard to follow. And following on Twitter is like totally impossible. I don't understand. Twitter's so much easier to use than Facebook. If you want to put everything on Facebook, I think that's a disservice. And it's very easy to dual your posts on Facebook and have them also appear in Twitter. So I don't know why you're going to be platform dependent when you're trying to, get results out to everybody. Right? Okay. I mean, we rip the BDO because they don't have results to their own tournaments on their own website, right? We're ripping people for not communicating this stuff, and a Facebook post is not enough. I think is my point here. So where are we on results? What do we got?
Well, what are you looking for?
Let's do the
men's
team? Yeah, the men's round robin. We were in a group with Germany, Bulgaria,
Turkey,
and Turkey, who was the host country.
Right.
Okay, how'd that work out?
Well, if I read this correctly, I have no idea. The U.S. won 2 and lost 1.
24, 4 and 15 against. That's not bad. So they lost to Germany by 2 or 3. 3 legs.
Where does it say that?
4 and against. FOR and AG. Is that 3? Is that 27?
27, 24.
All right, lost to Germany by 3, finished second in the group, and then I believe, how did they do in the team thing? See, I would go here and look there.
Oh,
training in progress.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did the men's team do? The women's team, I think, is playing tomorrow. Or no, I thought, okay.
Okay, well, this is women's team.
That's okay. Well, go to day 1 results and look for the men's team. It'll be below the day 2 results. I think they lost in the round of 16, I want to say.
Day 1 results.
Yeah.
They beat Turkey 9-4. They lost to Germany 9-6. They beat Bulgaria 9-2. And lost to the Republic of Ireland 9-2.
Okay, so they made it through their group and played as the 2. They probably played a 1 seed from another group, and Ireland smashed them 9-2.
Yeah, advanced the night. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like they were missing some doubles.
Finished second in Group 8.
I looked up, and it was a pretty good team we sent. Who's on the team? It was Tom Sawyer, Jerry Van Loan, Joe Huffman, Soldier Gates. No, it wasn't Soldier. Who was the 4th guy?
Larry.
Who?
Larry Butler.
Oh, okay.
Larry Butler, Jerry Van Loan, Joe Huffman, and Tom Sawyer.
Okay. And then the women.
Larry Butler did pretty well.
Oh, did he?
4-1, 4-0, 4-0, 4-1, and then lost 3-5 to Ross Montgomery. Tom Sawyer won 3 out of 4. Huffman lost 1, and Jerry Van Loan lost 1.
So, and those are their round robin records. Or okay. It's a strange.
I don't know. It's Group 1A.
It's a weird. Yeah, it's
Tom
a weird
Sawyer played
team.
4. Group 2B. Huffman only played 1 match.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that works.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a messy format, but they didn't win enough legs against Ireland. I think that's pretty obvious. And then they're playing today. They also had the Turkish Open going on at the same time, so it was kind of a mess because you're seeing like Wesley Harms threw a 9-darter, and then somebody's reporting results, but they're not saying what the event was, and I just kind of gave up, and I was like, well, this is dumb. How can you not have this out there for everybody if you want to promote your own event? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the background...
the women are doing well.
Okay. What does it say?
9-4 over India,
Okay.
9-1 over Romania, and 9-4 over Sweden.
All right, so they did good in the round robin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think they're playing their knockout stages tomorrow.
Right.
Which is probably in like 5 hours, since they're like got to be like 8 hours ahead of us. Right? Because Turkey's pretty far from Gibraltar or from Greenwich.
Okay.
Right? So it's got to be like 9 hours, something like that, on the time change. A lot of traveling for some of these people. Like Paula Murphy's there, and she was in, wasn't she just in Shanghai?
Yeah.
And now she's in Turkey. Yeah, a lot of stickers on your suitcases, these guys. Now, you also have results from, did anybody do anything in the, you got the Turkish Open there.
I do.
Did anybody do anything there? I thought Sawyer made a run.
I didn't see Sawyer.
In the Turkish Open?
Oh, let's see. That's women's for now.
Yeah, you won't find Sawyer under the women's results.
I
thought he made didn't he make top 16? He knocked out. It was the first, well, I don't know what we're looking at here.
I don't either.
Okay.
I thought I had it. Hold on.
See, it's hard to do a pre-show when you're watching the baseball game. Can somebody post the score to the Royals game for Mark?
It was 4-1 Royals.
4-1
no,
Royals?
I'm not worried. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
See, okay. That's men's pairs.
All right, let's give up.
That's women's pairs. I had it all, but I got 18 things open here.
Okay.
And that's mixed pairs.
Okay.
Apparently I never had the men. But I had the men at one point.
I thought we had the Turkish Open. Didn't Martin Adams lose the final 6-5 to some guy I never heard of?
Apparently I deleted that one.
Sweet. All right. I thought Tom Sawyer did good. I thought Tom Sawyer beat Dura.
I think he made
he beat
did.
Glenn
He made
Durant and then
16.
made top 16 and then
Robin
lost.
Curry
So congrats to him.
Robin Curry made Final Four apparently.
Okay, and
lost to Natalie Carter.
And then I think they lost to the winners, Robin and Callie. Lost to Detta Hedman and
yes, in the round of 8.
This is what I get for not opening Facebook, since that's all anybody uses anymore. I gotta tell
Robin
you, Twitter's
Curry,
awesome.
They lost in the final 8 to the eventual winners, Hedman and Rachel Brooks.
Okay, well, good showing. I'm sure they had a good time. We'll try to get somebody on.
It looks
that
beautiful
was there.
in Turkey, according to these pictures.
That's some fancy resort hotel, but not the hotel that they're staying at. It's some other hotel in Turkey. Apparently, this is some picturesque spot because the pictures were gorgeous. I just, I don't know
pictures were fantastic.
Where anything is. I just, all you read in the news is suicide bombers and all this other stuff. So I'm glad everybody got there in one piece, and we hope they'll get back in one piece. We're going to take one more break, and then we'll finish up. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve P. We'll be right back.
forevermore warn that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the last segment. Fourth quarter, Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Thanks in the chat room for the updates. Bad news for somebody. Baseball game. Somebody's going home unhappy. The WDF website has all the brackets for the World Cup if you guys want to try to follow it that way. Or you can go, I think it's probably posted on the ADO Darts website as well. There was something on the ADO Darts website a couple of weeks ago that I never got a chance to even comment on. The president of the ADO is David Haskup.
David Haskup,
he used to be
yes.
the guy in charge of their website, and he wrote a novel.
Yes.
I have been attacked personally, and so has the ADO. Okay, the ADO is not a person, so it can't be attacked personally. But if you're like Mitt Romney and you think corporations are people, then I guess it can. So I don't know. Here is my response. So in the interest of fairness, I don't know. Is
you
any
want
of
to
that?
read the whole thing?
Well, is any of it addressed to us? We've ripped the ADO for years. I mean, what's the first thing he's talking about there?
In the
Can you see he's got it like little titles?
In the USA, anyone can run for elected office.
Well, we know that's not true. Okay.
Well, apparently these are what people are saying.
Okay,
so
well, but we didn't say it.
Right.
Okay. So that's fine.
Remove all ADO office holders, close the West Coast office, and fire the office manager. I don't know. We
well,
didn't
they
say
actually closed. Read his response to that. Read it word for word if you can.
This is not a dictatorship. If it was, the office would have been closed in January 2014 when I first got into office. It needs board approval.
Okay.
But sever ties with the WDF.
Well, I think that they should.
And call Barry Hearn to begin discussion of opportunities for American participation in the PDC Development and Youth Tour and much greater opportunities for the participation in the World Championship.
Okay, what was his response to that?
This would end all opportunity to have American players represent the United States at the Masters this week, WDF World Cup.
Stop right there. It would end all opportunities to play one tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
to win more Masters.
Yeah, Masters.
You wouldn't be able to qualify for it unless you were getting a bunch of BDO points and you were high enough up on the BDO points to earn a spot. Okay.
Well,
ahead.
yeah, you
Keep
said
going.
one tournament, but he's actually listing three.
Well,
WDF World Cup.
which is like a ridiculous tournament to even be holding the way they're doing it.
All
so,
right. And
Canada didn't go this year. Japan didn't go this year. I mean, it's
that's right.
Why do you? Here's the thing with the WDF, and then later in there he says something about the Olympics.
Well, just to finish this one, and Lakeside World Championships, as the WDF is a member of Sports Accord, it would also ruin any opportunity for a player to represent the United States in the Olympics.
No, it wouldn't, because here's what you do. You dump the WDF, and if by some miracle of I don't know what, darts comes to the Olympics and their little plot to become the emperors of darts, which is what the WDF has tried to do. And if you read their bylaws, that's all we are the kings of darts. We're the only organization that counts. So talk to us. That's the whole purpose of the WDF. And I just think it's ludicrous. You could dump the WDF, and when darts comes to the Olympics, then join them. In the meantime, why support them? I see no reason at all to be involved with them. That was my take on the Olympics. The darts in the Olympics is never going to happen, ever. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, what's likelier is that it's going to be soft tip.
Okay.
And the WDF is all steel. So you're talking about, his response is you wouldn't be able to go to Lakeside. Well, no, but you could go to the PDC World Championship. So I see nothing wrong with being able to do both.
But yeah, I mean, if you severed ties with the WDF, then in darts became an Olympic sport, there would be no USA participation.
Well, then you would
whatsoever?
join the WDF then.
Right.
Because they would announce it 6 years in advance.
Exactly.
Okay. So I got 6 years to apply.
Right.
I mean, seriously. It's just the dumbest house of cards I've ever seen. I mean, it's like I can't take this stuff seriously.
For reasons that we kind of talked about this a little bit, for reasons of safety and common sense, cancel the American team's trip to the World Cup in Turkey.
Well, hey, they wanted to go. You know, they had warnings. The embassy said, don't go here, don't go there.
Well, which is what
All
he says. That was left up to the players, so that's
You
fine.
want to go? Go.
Yeah.
It looks like a pretty place.
Yeah.
You know, from the pictures we saw. I mean, hey, I'm for all opportunities. You know, don't try to tell me that like the ADO didn't undercut PDC efforts to grow darts in America, because that doesn't pass the smell test either, right? And if they want to say that, oh no, we never did and all that stuff, well, I don't believe you.
Incinerate the bylaws and dissolve the ADO forever and all time.
What I've always said is that if you can't reform the ADO, then you need to tear it down, because I always said it was like the really prime piece of real estate with the old dilapidated building. It's a tear down, right? Unless you can like gut rehab the old building and make it all cool, right? If that's what, and if they do that, you know, wake me up when it's over. Let me know. I would support a gut rehab ADO. If they got, you know, they started making decisions the right way, and you know, increasing opportunities for players is fine. You know, but we went through 2 years where if you played this, you couldn't play that, and all this other stuff, and that came from the BDO, and the ADO was fine with it all, and all it meant was like the big money PDC tournaments we had in America all went away. Thanks, great. You know, instead of having high-money tournaments here, you're able to go to one high-money tournament in England. How is that helping anybody?
Right.
So it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's all these, like, you know, personal, you know, relationships people have, and like the head of the WDF used to be the head of the ADO and all this other stuff. I mean, it's all like three people making decisions for everybody and not making good ones. So you want to like...
Well, but it needs board approval.
Well, this is what happens when you create your own little fiefdom. Mm-hmm. You can't get the you can't get the lords out. You know, it's just Windy City's the same way. Half the board is only up for re-election. You can't vote everybody out. In the United States Congress, you can get all the House of Representatives out every 2 years, but you can only get 1/3 of the Senate. Here, it's 1/2. So I don't know why you're structuring it that way. I mean, if you really wanted to be responsive to everybody, you would say from now on, everybody's up for re-election every year. Mm-hmm. But, oh, my God, what if I get voted out? Then I can't be king. Oh, well, let's not do that.
Right.
And it's designed where you get new – this is what happened with Windy City. It's got the exact same structure. And they would get new people in. They couldn't deal with the people that were already there, and they'd all just quit. This is a waste of time. We're never going to change anything. These guys just want to keep doing the same thing, the same old way, and so nothing changes. You know, now, I thought that they were supposed to close the ADO office on the West Coast.
Right.
If they do that, they're going to save, I would think, the vast majority of their...
Well, didn't I see earlier that they said they did do it?
I heard that it was supposed to be done by the end of the month. And that they were going to, I don't know, put all the files in somebody's house, you know. I mean, they've needed to do that for a long time. I mean, when I started playing darts in Chicago...
Well, what does closing the California office do?
Well, you have salaried employees and rent.
Okay.
That is basically the biggest expense for the entire organization is you've got a full-time employee. Windy City did the same thing. When I started at Windy City, they had hundreds of... It was like, I don't know, 10 times the size it is now. It's been shrinking every year because, you know, they had two full-time, or they had one full-time and one part-time employee, or they had two full-time employees and an office they paid rent and a storage facility that they paid rent on, and they had just laid off the first one of the two people. And then the other person they had there felt so overworked that I would go into the office and be like, you know, you should, like, you know, think about, you guys should have a website. Well, I'm not going to do it. Right. Everything was, well, I'm not going to do it. Well, I'm not going to do it. Well, and I'm like thinking, you know, you're not qualified for your job then. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like,
Well, if you're overworked.
well, no, if you're a secretary and you're using some old system and it's like, okay, well, now we're going to upgrade, you learn the new system, or they get somebody who does. You don't have entitlement to this job for life if you're not going to keep up with the Joneses and, keep up with technology and stuff like that. That's how it works.
Well, that makes sense.
I used to use Word Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, gee, better learn to use Microsoft Word. I used to use FrameMaker. Well, better learn to use Microsoft Word. I used to use RoboHelp. Well, better learn HTML, dude. You have to kind of keep up if you're going to be able to maintain a professional organization.
Right.
And instead, they act like kind of lazy volunteers, but they're getting paid. It's like, well, you're not qualified for the job anymore. That's what you do. The first thing you do, like with corporate layoffs and all this stuff, I mean, it's like the first thing you do is you put in your resume and prove why you deserve to have the job you have. If new management's coming in, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll keep an eye on the ADO. I heard that they're closing the office, and if that's true, they should have a lot more money because, I mean, it's a disgrace. The prize money for the national championships that they have, or the ADO championships, pay nothing.
Well, what do the salaried employees do?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Answer the phone. Or actually, the last 20 times I called, I think they answered the phone twice. They just leave voicemails and then they call back. So maybe they're at home and then they check in. And, who knows? No supervision. It's dumb to have it in California when all the officers are in New York. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand a lot of the stuff they do. So I'm not trying to go on an ADO rant. I'm just, was there anything else that in that thing that
well, then the last
maybe
one
was
is
to us? All right.
The last one is 1,700 plus votes, and then this is like 18 paragraphs long. And that
17. Okay, what is that all about? What was the title of it?
1,700 plus votes, and then it says, as a computer programmer, this one actually makes me laugh a bit. If online votes counted, Ron Paul would be president, and Rand Paul would win next November. I can create an online poll tonight that shows me winning 200 million.
Okay, this must be something like if you like let everybody vote online, you'd lose. Well, here's the thing. That's not really a fair statement. I mean, the ADO, their elections are done by all the people that are involved in the ADO at like the regional and the area level. So like the regional people vote for the area manager, and then he's kind of like a semi-board member, and the area managers were voting on the board members, and then they changed that and let the regional managers vote. I can't remember. I mean, the whole thing was just kind of dumb anyway. You let all the darters vote on dissolving the ADO? I mean,
pretty much that's what he said. Well, yeah.
I don't know what he's responding to. I mean, I don't know what. That seems a little far-fetched.
Well,
to
then
me,
it says, it goes back to what we were just talking about. Some are wondering why it took me over a year and a half to make this happen. Closing the ADO office was brought up. My first meeting as ADO president in January of 2014. It was heated discussion with new board members, 3 or 4, I believe. He doesn't even remember how many new board members there were.
Okay, and the new board members wanted to keep the office?
A vote was never brought to the table because the board members didn't know what was going on. Stanford meeting, I was unavailable as I had knee surgery. Then he gets a little upset. This was, but I blame myself for having knee surgery and a life. At the 2015 Las Vegas meeting, we had discussed possible changes to the ADO. We had several conference calls during the following months to discuss what steps would be needed to be sure.
So you had a meeting in January and you made a couple of phone calls.
Right.
I'm totally unimpressed.
However, I did not find a situation like this to be something we should vote on via email, whether you agree or not.
What difference does it make?
Letting people go from a job, no matter the reason, is a very hard thing to do. I wanted the board to discuss one last time face-to-face. So
so they did, and then did they decide to close the office or not? Or did they table it or, like, put it off? I mean,
Some are wondering why I waited until October 1st and why this information was not posted in the minutes. This is a very simple answer, actually. Steps were needed to be taken before we could close the doors. So apparently that means they are.
Yeah.
that we had everything covered in case the worst possible outcome occurred. Thankfully, the notice was taken without any issue.
Yeah, what I always heard was that the woman that runs the office kind of had all the information, and they were afraid the information would disappear, and they wouldn't be able to contact anybody on any ADO-related matter. Because it was like all like, I don't know, they like literally, we need the Rolodex kind of thing. Because it's probably, they're not automated there, is what I suspect. So
Yeah, right.
Well, we need
all
your
private
Rolodex
information will be shredded, historical information put into storage until further notice.
Yeah, whatever.
And all computer-related items will be sent to my house. Not my house, David's house.
The 5 1/4-inch floppies. I hope you got a disk drive for that. Okay, well, good for the ADO then. If they're actually, finally doing it. I remember talking to Buddy and David in Vegas 3 years ago, and I think I overheard them, complaining about the office staff, and I'm like, why don't you fire her instead of complaining about it? It doesn't do any good to complain if you're not going to do anything about it. And if you don't have the power to fire an employee, then you guys are a total mess. You know what I mean? I mean, this is not like General Motors, right? It's a dart organization with mostly volunteers, unpaid.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Raising the prize money would be good. Maybe like trying to figure out some way where...
he doesn't mention anything about that. He goes on to explain why he thinks he's right.
Okay, well, he's entitled to his opinion.
Sure.
I think people should give him credit for actually writing that little novel and putting it out there and actually communicating something to people. I think that's a good idea. All right, let's wrap it up. We'll try to get somebody on next week to talk about all the stuff we're not talking about, which is Colorado Open and Ghost on the Coast and Which City, which I heard was a very fine tournament. And we'll try to get that Jennifer Mounts on for Aaron. He's been so helpful with the show. And she seems like it might be an interesting interview. So we'll do that next week.
All right.
You should probably touch base with me over the weekend. I'll hook you up and you can watch the European Tour Championship.
Over the weekend?
Yeah. You got a phone. All you got to do is get up at 7 o'clock on Friday and then,
Well, yeah, I'll
watch,
be at work.
What, you can't watch
Right.
like 14 hours of darts on a Friday?
Well, the Breeders' Cup is this weekend?
No, I didn't know that.
Nothing but horse racing all day Friday and all day Saturday.
The World Series is on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they're taking Friday off.
No, they take Thursday off. Friday, Saturday.
Oh, so Friday, Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday.
If needed.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening and for staying patient with us. We'll be back next week, and we will talk to you then. Everybody, take care.